Well, the reason the collapsing dollar is the dollar isn't a dollar. You want to talk about something else? Here's something fun. Do you know what a dollar really is?
Well, you hear.
You know what a foot is.
Yeah.
You know the foot's made up of 12 inches, right?
That's right.
Right. And you know how much a pound is. A pound is made up of 16 ounces, right?
That's right.
Well, a dollar is just like that. A dollar is a certain thing. That's a dollar. Okay? That right there. That is 300, or used to be. I've been carrying that for 55 years almost. In my pocket, so it's worn down, probably a little less. But when it was started, it was 371 1/4 grains of silver minted into a coin. That is what a dollar is. This is not a dollar. This is not a dollar. That is not $20. That's 20 Federal Reserve dollars, and there's not a single ounce, not 1 grain of silver behind it. So it's play money. Now, we used to have certificates. This would have been a certificate saying I owned $20 worth of silver. It's in Fort Knox. I own it. Just like if you paid for 100 shares of AT&T, you get a certificate. If you didn't put it if you had a certificate form rather than street name, you would have a certificate to prove that you were the owner of 100 shares of that company over there. Now, if somebody came in and said, "Let me see that 100 share certificate," and they said, "Okay, well, let me just give you this piece of paper here for it," and started to walk off with it.
So you take nothing doing.
That's right. But that's exactly what we've done.
That's exactly
because
what we've done.
We have let them take away our certificates of ownership of the gold and the silver in Fort Knox, and they've given us this worthless stuff that doesn't mean anything, and they're laughing their butts off. And they've got all the gold, they've got all the silver, and the silver now is gone. You go in to the website of the U.S. Mint and try to buy a silver eagle. A silver eagle is 1 ounce of gold. Of silver. Not available.
Oh, really?
Why would they not have it available? Because they're selling it. They're not selling that for $1. They're selling it for $20.
Yeah.
All right. For $1. For a silver dollar, they want $20. Now, but it's not available. Why would it not be available? If they could get $20 to the dollar, then you think they'd be just chucking it out, or like he said, more than that, 25, 30 maybe, I don't know, a silver eagle, what they're going for today. But you think they'd be chucking it out as fast as they can make it, right? No, they can't make it because they don't have any silver left. Well, is there any gold left in Fort Knox?
Yeah, I'm wondering what is in Fort Knox.
Nobody knows. It hasn't been audited since Eisenhower.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know.
Well, it hasn't even
They need to have
it hasn't even been looked at. It
Nobody
hasn't
knows.
even been looked at, let alone audited, since the early 60s, when they allowed some people in there to look.
Some locals.
To look at it. All they could see was the outside of the stack. It might have been bales of hay on the inside, for all we know. I don't know where it is, but I think it's high time we started asking.
Exactly.
And I don't know where it is, but I think it's high time we started asking.
Oh.
And so, somebody needs to start asking these questions. Somebody needs to start taking them to task and say, how in the world can you come and get a tax from people when there's no law that says they owe it? I'm tired. This community has been asking them to show them the law, and you got David Van Kleist up there singing that "Show Me the Law" song. You heard that?
That's good too.
They've been saying that for 25, 30 years.
And the government just keeps on getting by with it.
Well, all you have to do is pick up the code. You don't need them to show us the law. Pick up the Internal Revenue Code. Go to the income tax in the index. Look down for liable. Not going to be there. Whoa. Well, indexes aren't always complete, right? So flip over to liable, and you'll find liability clauses for all kinds of taxes. Income tax, let's go down to I. Whoa. No income tax listed under liability clauses. Go back to the front, start at the beginning. They say you're liable because of Section 1. Section 1 says, there is hereby imposed on the taxable income of married individuals, etc. Okay? Who has to pay it? The tax is imposed on a taxable income. It's a thing. Well, tell the thing to write the check. You know, if you can get that thing to write a check, then I'm all for you. Go for it. But who's supposed to write the check? Who owes the tax? The guy that pays the income, the guy that gets the income, the guy that earns it, the guy who gets the benefit because he got the income, and I sold him a house, and so I got the benefit of his income. Who owes the tax? The bank that gets to keep it? Who owes the tax? Nobody. Because it doesn't say anybody owes the tax. There's one provision in the code that says who owes an income tax. You're going to love this. Section 1461, finally. I sift through 1,461 sections before I get to one that says anything about somebody being liable. People who are required to withhold taxes on non-resident aliens and foreign corporations are liable for the tax. Now, why? You remember I said something about if you can't destroy it, you can't tax it? There is one area that the federal government enjoys total control over. They don't really have much total control over anything except for what comes in and goes out of this country. Now, they can't tax exports, but they can tax foreign transactions, right? Non-resident alien, now why can't they tax our labor? Because our constitutional rights, our fundamental rights, are protected by the Constitution. You don't get them in the Constitution, they're protected by the Constitution. What about a non-resident alien? What about an alien? The guy comes over here, does he have protection of the Constitution? Again, he does. Yes, he does. It doesn't matter. When a man is sitting here on American soil, he has fundamental rights that every man got when he was created. And the Constitution protects him, no matter where he comes from, no matter how long he's been here, no matter whether he's a citizen or an alien. He still has his constitutional rights. But the guy who never gets that foot over here, he has fundamental rights too, under our law, but he doesn't have any right to have them protected because the Constitution doesn't apply to him. So he doesn't have any constitutional protection. So who can you hit without any limitations, even if you don't have the right to destroy something that belongs to him? He doesn't have any way to stop you from doing it. The Supreme Court gave him that idea in the 1870s whenever you had a case called Erie versus Commissioner, or versus Collector. And in that case, they were taxing some bond holders in London who had never set foot in America, and they were taxing the interest payments on those bonds in the Erie River. And so whenever they tax these things, somebody filed a suit in the Erie Railroad saying, you can't tax that. We paid it, now we want it back. They challenged it. Went up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, we don't have to decide whether it's constitutional to tax people over in London or not. We don't have to decide whether we have the power or not, because we got the money before it ever went over there. And since they're non-resident aliens and they don't have any rights, they have no way of making us pay it back. Carte blanche on those guys, not on us. We still have fundamental rights, and our fundamental rights are still protected by the Constitution. And all we need to do is go one building over, one building past this one, and get those guys to do their job and protect our constitutional rights. That's the Supreme Court of the United States. They've said it before, now make good on it.
Well, we want to stay in touch with you, find out how your court case turns out, and maybe have you on as a guest by phone sometime on a Saturday, and just keep up with you. We consider you a real patriot, and it was an enjoyment to get to interview you.